Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Radio Geonosis, where we talk about Star Wars from a certain point of view. I'm Angie.
I'm Aaron. What's up?
Too much coffee.
Did
I
you have
had
too
some
much
today.
coffee?
I had to do a test at work. You're probably going to have to do it too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm not looking forward to it.
So
at
I
all.
drank some coffee while I was doing that. And I'm like,
Oh,
woo!
yeah, I've never heard that intro before.
We got a new one.
It was cool though.
This week is going to be, our show is going to be Money in the Galaxy.
Currency.
Yes. But before we do that, we're going to do some hot happenings for this week. As you know, I was at the Long Beach Con. I expected Aaron to be there.
Oh, Angie.
Could have gotten him in.
Oh, Angie.
It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. I worked the Saber Guild booth on Saturday and Sunday. I did some interviews, and I'm going to get that up on the show ASAP.
I'm really looking forward to the interviews though.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. I interviewed quite a few people. I got to interview Dupree. He's part of the 501st. He is a Darth Vader who owns about 6 different Darth Vader costumes.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
Wow.
I will be at the Saber Guild will be at the Newport Library at the end of the month. We're going to be doing a troupe there.
Okay.
So that should be fun. Also, NerdBot is coming up on September 22nd.
Nerdbot.
Yes, nerdbot.com. And it will be in Pasadena.
Okay.
That's a really cool event. I've done that a couple of times. Saber Guild Skywalker Temple will be taking care of that one.
Saber Guild.
The Saber Guild Skywalker
Temple.
Temple. Yeah. Now, this one Aaron's going to really like. I thought, oh, man, I've fallen on a jewel here. Star Wars Fallen Order will reportedly be similar to The Force Unleashed.
Mm-hmm.
At first, there was little coming out about the game, and I think we've talked about it before.
Uh-huh.
About how, I think David brought it up, how there wasn't really any releases, any information coming out.
Yeah.
So now new details have emerged regarding the game from Making Star Wars podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So they came out with it. Could end up being a quality game. And they said Fallen Order will have similarities to the underrated Force Unleashed games.
That would be really.
Is it underrated?
It is underrated. It's that. I think that's why he's making such a huge comeback now with the social media age. Galen Merrick is because
I don't know, man.
It was underrated. It really was slept on.
It said it says which pleases fans those of the 6th generation titles. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah,
I'm not a
like,
gamer.
so like the Battlefronts we got like on PlayStation is referring to those games. The Force Unleashed, the Battlefronts we got on PlayStation, the Battlefront 2s, even the Star Wars like pod racing games and stuff like that. Like that generation, all those fun Star Wars games. We got a lot back then. It was a lot.
Back in the
Even
day.
Jedi Academy too, yeah. So yeah, so it's talking about that. But that
It's OG.
Yeah, that Fallen Order, I first saw it like on Instagram, like people were saying, do we need a Star Wars game like this? And it just showed like a case, like just the case of the game. But I didn't know it was gonna actually be a game or considered being a game till like just maybe like a month or so ago.
Yeah, they're starting to talk about it. The game, they mention how it will be like The Force Unleashed, but without the Mountain Dew, and I'll quote, the Mountain Dew qualities. What is the Mountain Dew qualities?
I don't know. I feel like they're taking a shot at Force Unleashed. Somehow.
Yeah, they
The
take
Mountain
more of a
Dew-
shot.
Okay, that's pretty fucked up.
The Jedi Fallen Order will supposedly follow a young Padawan who manages to survive Order 66. The game will follow the main series canon, and won't have an Now this part you're not going to like. Won't have an overpowered Jedi who kills 7 billion Star Troopers by himself, aka Star Killer.
I don't know what's going on here.
That's not nice, is it?
Where the hate from Star-Lord is
I
coming
know. It will be like a Kanan backstory from Rebels.
from. That's exactly why the Star Wars fans beef amongst each because that was unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, why?
They
why-
probably enjoyed that game too, like everyone else did.
Oh, man, the hair in the back of Aaron's neck is standing up.
Yeah, it is. Whoever wrote that, we have to have a solid discussion. I'm being so serious right now.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like it'd be a cool game, but don't tear up Force Unleashed. It
Yeah.
even has a book.
Exactly. This does not.
Yeah, and I mean, this doesn't have anything like that. And what they're saying is it's going to fall into the Kanan backstory from Rebels, and they're saying it's more of an adult version.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm not. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if the game even if the game even comes out. I'm pretty sure it's not even in development yet. It's probably
Well,
just
how
an
do you know it
idea.
doesn't have Mountain Dew qualities of its own?
Exactly.
And I
which,
quote.
which all games usually do. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of. I was like, oh, Aaron's
cheap
not going to
shot.
like.
Cheap
Yeah, he's
shot.
not going to like the end of that story.
Where's the unity? Where's the unity?
Not there.
Yeah, exactly. But that was a good hot happening though. 'Cause we do need another Star
Yes.
Wars game pretty soon.
Yes, and we got Aaron all fired up now.
Yes, I am.
So we're talking about Star Wars money. You know, it came in many forms, and doggone it, I was going to bring some money here. I have the Monopoly game, and
Oh,
it has
really?
yes,
Oh,
and
wow.
it has.
That would have been actually pretty dope.
I have the money. I have the meats.
Yeah, I don't know like the Star Wars. Like I was telling you, I don't know how the currency works in Star Wars because it's really not really explained. Honestly, you have to really honestly go look.
Yeah, I had to dig for
yeah,
this.
you have to dig for it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to dig for it, and it, you know, the more you read, read about it, the more interesting it becomes, because you see how people are in control and who is in control.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. So, do you want to go first with your little your bit of what you would do?
Yeah, what I would buy. Well, and we kind of just spoke about it. Like if I had the money that Count Dooku had, would I make an army? Would I invest? I don't know. Honestly, don't know what I would do in the Star
Buy a
Wars
planet?
universe, but maybe buy a planet. Maybe I know for sure I would buy definitely like a luxurious. We talked about vehicles in one of the episodes, and I would buy definitely something that something very in like Bruce Wayne-ish for outer space. I'll make sure I have something like that. Maybe a small army, maybe a small security task force team. I might do something like that, invest in something like that. Casino for the high, so we can see those.
You know, you
people
could put that
singing.
on the planet Kane.
And it has a ring to it. But I would definitely do something like that. I would definitely invest into maybe a bank, since we're already talking about currency.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure because I don't know the currency. How much is this much? Would this translate to money I could understand? I really don't know the currency of Star Wars,
You could have a town called Aaronsville.
I would definitely have a planet called Planet
On
Kane. though.
Kane.
Yeah.
It would be the main hub
Yeah.
where they have all the gambling going on, and
I would definitely probably invest in the Rebel Alliance though, so I would probably even be alive long. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be alive long if I.
why? Because you do the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, I would definitely help them out if I had the money and resources because I would definitely be on their side. I think.
Yeah, you
don't
know,
know
Star
if I
Killer
would-
be landing on your planet,
Yeah,
making stuff
exactly.
happen.
And I would eat if I was a Star Wars universe, and I'd be just a scared chicken. I can't cuss like that, but yeah. Then if he came and looked me in my eye, then you know what? I can help you guys out. I'll be glad to help you, Galen. Tell me what do you need. But I don't know. I'm not really sure just because I don't know the currency, and that's where you.
Yeah, that's where I went and I looked it up, and I thought, oh, this was interesting. It was interesting. It says the Galaxy Credit Standard, simply called a credit, also referred to as Republic Dectarians.
Yeah.
Remember, they talk about that in the Phantom Menace, and later known as Imperial credits.
Yeah, period credits. Yeah.
Yeah, it was also the main currency used in the galaxy since the time of the Galactic Republic. So the
Been around for a
Galactic,
while. Sorry,
yeah, it's
sorry.
been around for a while, but it's how it gets established that was really interesting. The Galactic Standard was established on Sojourn. From its inception, the credit was backed by the immense wealth of the planet Mumnus. Now that the moon, the planet Sojourn, I hope I'm saying that, Sojourn, Sojourn, a moon in the Mumnus system. I thought that was really interesting that they came up with it. And the Mumnus are the International Banking Clan.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, they're IGBC. They control all the money.
Okay.
They control all of it. Just remember that part, because when we start getting more into it, I was like, what the heck? But they came up with the idea of the credits. It was on one of their moons that they made that money, and they're the ones who control all the money in the galaxy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it came in different forms. It came in it looked like Kit Kat bars. It
Yeah.
looked, that sounds good, doesn't it? It came in coins. It came in credit cards.
Came
it,
in bars too. They
in
have
bars. Yeah, but they look like Kit Kat.
Yeah, yeah.
Kit Kat. They
yeah.
were like small ones. They were at first they were long, and then they were different sizes
Yeah.
after a while. So I imagine they were moving stuff around. During the Clone Wars, the IGBC backed the currency of both sides. So they were back in the sides. They were back in everybody, the bad guys and the good guys.
Yeah.
So who was in control?
Yeah, they really are.
Exactly.
Just like the real world people would say.
Yeah, and what's happening is we have a secret society, even in our world,
Absolutely.
that controls everything.
Yeah.
Just like the IGBC
Yeah.
of this galaxy. And I thought, wow, that's just like really art imitating real life.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely like that. And I mean, I already think, and a lot of people do think, that George Lucas is basically just Star Wars is basically that. It's just real life. Just
Yeah, because
know?
during the Roman Empire, they controlled everything in the world, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
They're down to the money.
Yeah.
So the Mumnists did that, and by funding both sides, they were controlling who was going to win and who was going to lose, or who was going to do what. And I thought that was kind of interesting, as it would do, as they would do again later for the New Republic and the Imperial Remnant. So they do it again during the Force Awakens. They're
Yeah.
funding all of it again. So
So the I, so I'm trying to put on the
IGBC, which is the International Galactic Banking Clan.
So what I was just trying, while I was just staring off into space, what I was trying to put together was that everything goes through them. So when a Count Dooku or or the Jedi Council or all the major players in the galaxy, when they need something to fund, maybe a project, maybe a fleet of ships to be built, or what, who makes that final call of like, yes, give them the Ahmad billions of dollars?
I would imagine it's someone during the time of the Revenge of the Sith and on until you get to New Hope. I imagine that it is, well, anytime when Sidious got into power, it was kind of Sidious, and it was the banking clan.
Okay.
They decided he could sway them either way.
Yeah,
Whoever
anyway.
was in the Rebel Alliance, they could sway whoever it was either way. And at first, I think it was Padme. Padme was up there, and a few others, even Organa.
Organa, Organa, yeah.
Princess or
Organa.
Queen, or she wasn't Queen, but
Yeah.
Princess Leia could have been doing it. Who knows?
Darth
We
Vader
don't.
could have been doing it.
No, I don't think so. I think once he became all burned up, he was just like a henchman.
Yeah. He wasn't out there like that.
He was more of a valuable hitman than he was a banking dude.
Got you.
He couldn't manage his life. You want him
Yeah,
with your banking money?
Because my thing is, if all those people in power, and we know the people in power as far as the characters we know, why haven't they tried to make a run at trying to take over that, trying to be the...
Because I think they're way too powerful. I think they're way too powerful.
Okay, yeah.
I'm surprised that Sidious didn't go float over there with a Death Star and shoot down that planet.
Exactly. Yeah.
But he had a reason, and we're going to
that's
get to
what
that.
And that's why I'm thinking, like, who really is the international banking?
It's the Mumnists. I think there's 12 of them, and they discussed that in the Clone Wars.
So it's almost like the Capitol, like the people on Capitol Hill, like
Kind of, but
Congress,
some of those
basically.
folks are controlled by who they got paid from.
Yeah.
So it isn't even them. They are are bought and paid for, so they have to go with whoever, whatever they say, because
Yeah.
people contribute to them. And I believe it's the same way probably in Star Wars. There and you'll be interested to hear what Bane had to say about this. Information is a commodity. It can only be traded, sold, and purchased. In the end, credits are only as valuable as the secrets they can buy. This came from Darth Bane. So he understood, even in the old Republic, how the money worked.
How the money work? Yeah.
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 But even he and they weren't in control. All along, it was the Muns.
All the months.
And it gets even deeper. I mean, it goes down the rabbit hole pretty bad.
As
I
money
couldn't
would
even
take you,
believe
as-
it. I was writing. I didn't even go to the gym this morning. I started writing more stuff. I was getting more information, and it clicked in my head about a few things. And I mean, I won't tell you right now, but I was like, "Geez, Louise, it all makes sense now."
Yeah. So is just the banking so just us doing this currency episode is just tying a lot of things together.
Oh yeah, it is. It ties in the Senate. It ties in who is in control and what people pay for and what secrets are paid for. It's all about money trading, but it comes down to the Muns run everything.
Yeah.
Why we never went over there and blew up that planet, I don't know. Maybe because there was all that currency there and the people were afraid that.
Maybe it's the respect that they made the currency. Maybe it's just the automatic. Well, they made what's getting us all this. So let's, you know what I mean. Maybe it's the amount of respect as far as they're the untouchables. They came up with the currency.
Yeah.
Maybe who I don't know.
Yeah,
It's all
it was
speculation,
rather
really.
interesting. And all this time I'm watching The Force Awakens, and when Rey is working on the planet and she's getting all she's getting all that junk and trading it to the dealer, she's getting food rations. I thought it was money.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was money, but it's the 1/4 portion.
Yeah, 1/4 portion.
Last week it was a whole portion. But it's food. It's dried food, so it's like military food.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that tastes good.
There's no way that tastes good.
No.
There's no way. There's no way.
They said that we talked about that last night at practice, and they were talking about how you can buy like cake in a cup to make those muffins, and there actually is recipes to make that muffin.
Really?
Not that it would taste good, but
No. But no, the fact that it how it rose like that. Must have
Yeah.
came from just.
but not
just
in
dunking
that
her
not
food-
in that
oh,
time
okay.
frame. It's got a little go.
Cause that's crazy.
That's for movie only.
That was crazy.
Just like I found out that some of the fight scene with Anakin and Obi-Wan was they had to splice some stuff together, and they sped it up to make it look like it did. Or else, because we were talking about shows, and I said I have a hard time watching myself, perform because I look like I'm going so slow, but I'm actually not going slow. It just the film makes it look slow.
No, yeah.
And so the movie, what they did was they
had to speed it up.
right, and I guess there's one part in the movie, we're getting off the beaten path here, but it doesn't matter.
That's all right.
They are talking about how in one scene there Obi-Wan has his saber and Anakin has his saber, but in the next scene Anakin's got Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan's got Anakin's, but how did they get like that?
Yeah.
But apparently there was a scene that was cut out where the sabers fell and they grabbed each other's sabers.
Okay. Yeah.
I wish they had that in there because that would have been cool.
That would have been really dope. Yeah. But just for
Like,
that
why
time,
take that out?
they just probably couldn't have
It's
it.
like
in
taking out the meat and potatoes, I tell you. It's like serving it without steak
there.
sauce.
Yeah, I know. Where's the steak sauce?
The credit was a form of digital currency with cards in circulation. Although they were about the same size, credits sometimes came in different patterns or designs, most likely depending on how much they were worth. Sometimes during the height of the Galactic Republic, credit chips became popular, and they became popular during the Clone Wars. I imagine that they needed something smaller to carry around. So, and in the form of credit, in the form of like maybe a credit card, I thought, well, that's how they paid the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
They all got paid on their ATM cards during the Clone Wars. The credit also came into form of small metallic ingots. Maybe that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Online. The little teeny
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
The longer ones that look like Kit Kats
Yeah.
were different. Maybe because people were trying to eat them, that they made them different.
They look like ration bars.
They look like ration bars, the 1/4 portion. There were also cubes that were small chips near the end of the Galactic Empire reign. Physical currency enjoyed an increase in popularity as citizens of the galaxy awaited resolution of the Galactic Civil War. They were making it different. So maybe the Muns were switching it up to maybe, devaluate some currency and value more currency.
Yeah. They could've
So yeah, that sounded kind of like, in the real world, even though Star Wars is the real world. In the real world, currency goes up and down. American currency, The yen goes up and down. The mark from well, even though it's the euro now, it all goes up and down. The Russian, I'm not sure what Russian money is. I think it's the mark. You know, ruble. It's the ruble. Thank you, studio audience, Steve. Yeah, the rubles. You know, and on all the different currency went up and down. Maybe that's how the Muns kind of monitored it.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. I don't want to know what they look like though. Have you seen what they look like?
The ingots?
Yeah.
The ingots, yeah, they're like what you were talking about, the little square ones, and then there are longer ones with the dots in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're different colors like gray, silver.
So the covers obviously represent what their worth is.
Right. I imagine that gold is probably the highest one, just like here on Earth.
Yeah.
You know, George, how could George go anything out of that? How does he know? He doesn't know. What are you going to make it purple?
Yeah, the brown ingots are like, no. So the shiny ones are what? Yeah.
The pennies.
They're the least.
They're the pennies of the galaxy.
Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't add up.
Many were worried that the credit chips could become worthless following the war. In some places, such as the first Death Star, credits could be accessed via a debit code. So that's where I think that the stormtroopers got paid, because remember, they weren't clones anymore; they were just people. So they wanted to be paid just like our army.
Else, just like anyone else. Yeah, they have to be compensated.
Yeah, because our army gets paid by the U.S. government, and you know, if you were fighting in the Russian government, you would get paid. So why not via debit code?
Yeah, exactly.
They went to the ATM in the Death Star. When it got blown up, they were mad.
All this money.
All the money. How are we going to pay for stuff? Credits could be transferred or withdrawn from account cards. They were usually used by Sabaka or Pazaki players. Bounty hunters also received an agreed amount of credits after completing a task or a mission.
Yeah, it would get just wired to them. They would I know bounty hunters either look at a watch or look at like a tablet or kind of monitor, and like it will say that it's like a cell phone thing, kind of basically like
they say you've been paid.
Yeah, you've been paid. Your galactic credits have been transferred. Yeah, so. And
then all of a sudden the war's over and they're worth nothing.
And the life of a bounty hunter.
That's right.
It's what comes with it.
Yeah, it's here and gone.
Yeah.
During the Clone Wars, and even before, many of the galaxy's inhabitants were worried about the war's outcome and the effect it would have on the galactic economy. Because of the overwhelming majority of planets outside the core and the inner rim, they would not accept the credits of these from the Galactic Republic. So they remember how what is his name? The one in Phantom Menace, the little guy that
flies around.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
I can't think of it either at all.
It's not Guido.
No, I was doing extracurricular activities before this podcast started. So I can't think of any names right now. I'm of no use as far as names.
There's a smoky cloud there.
Sorry,
I am going to have a talk with you, so we do it afterwards.
It's innocent fun. No, but I can't think of his name right now. I'm trying to think of his name. I just can't.
We're going to have to Google that. You know what? I don't even have a cloud around me, and I can't remember.
I cannot think of his. I'm trying to picture Qui-Gon talking to him and saying his name right now. But
I can't. My friend does his voice, and I can't think of his
really?
name right now. Yeah.
I can't think of it right now.
It's not Watto. It's Watto.
Watto?
Watto. WOTTO. Watto. WATTO. Watto.
Watto.
It is Watto. Yes, that's. Hey man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That guy. And he calls it public dictarian.
Yeah.
So he's going back to the old times. So during that time, they were minting their own special currency. And I can't imagine that went over too well with the Muns. But, they probably thought, this is one or two planets. It ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Compared to the
whole guy, like if everyone else were to do it, then.
Yeah, compared to the power they have.
Yeah.
In 22 BBY, the intergalactic banking clan was created. They were creating new currency at a rate of 20 per day with the intergalactic currency system managing currency. So what they were doing, it seemed to me when I read that, is that they were bringing down the price of certain things. They were trying to control it by printing so much money that it was almost creating inflation.
Yeah.
So here again, they're in control.
Yeah, they're in control. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was their way of being in control and trying to monitor everything going on. Because if they were in control of who was purchasing the clones or who was doing this and that, they could say, well, we're going to give you this amount. You got to finance the rest, and at a rate of 100% interest rate.
Yeah, they could choose whatever number they want.
That's right. They could have gone, and then let's say that the galaxy, the I can't think of it right now. Oh my goodness, when everyone's inside the supreme galaxy.
Oh yeah.
They're I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but they would have to agree on, okay, we're going to accept that 100% interest rate.
Yeah.
The council and everyone would have to agree on that.
Just like kind of like the real world, the reality in Star Wars having so much in common.
Yeah, I believe there is an international banking.
Absolutely.
Banking something or other in our world, and maybe that's where George got the idea for that.
Yeah, there's no way that there's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's got to be, because I know that there is.
Yeah.
There's the Bilderberg Group.
Yeah.
Hopefully the black helicopters don't show up.
Please don't show up.
All right, so Mun, what they were was powerful. They were powerful, controlled most of the money in the galaxy. The Tawnath family controlled the banking clan. So this was a Mun family that controlled the banking clan. So there was a powerful family on Munless that controlled it all. How they even got there?
Probably since the beginning of the time. Probably, it's probably always been them.
Well, they were known as a ruthless family that used forces against rivals and for the conquest of worlds and business procedures. They went after everything. They were like the Italian mafia.
Yeah.
They were big time. Now here is where it gets interesting. Darth Plagueis was a Mun. Darth Plagueis was Palpatine's master.
Yeah.
And he meets Palpatine when Palpatine's young and realizes that this guy is almost like Starkiller.
Yeah,
he is a very powerful man. But also Palpatine realizes how powerful he is in the banking clan. Are you following me here?
Yeah.
So Palpatine, knowing this, wanting to take over the galaxy, who do you think is a good friend to have?
One of the richest people.
One of the ones who controls. Plagueis is one of the ones who sits on the banking clan.
Okay.
So he chose wisely to be friends with this guy.
So also shows why the Empire is so powerful and what they are.
And when I was looking at it, I'm pretty sure Palpatine knew he was a powerful Mun in the banking clan. This would benefit him greatly. And it would this way he could have a hold on the banking clan.
Yeah.
Because his master was part of the banking clan.
Of course, he probably persuaded and made some long life connections in the banking clan too, to where it's like one side is definitely loyal to one side and one side.
Right, but here is the big thing. At the end of the Plagueis book, which I know it isn't canon, it's EU. People could argue that, but this kind of falls into it. When he kills his master, guess what he takes? Everything his master has, and that means a seat on the banking clan.
Wow.
So he would never be able to be told, no, we're not going to pay for this.
Yeah.
He would never be able to be kicked out because he has a seat on the banking clan. He put all his cards in the right places.
Right, exactly. It was all planned out.
Yes.
One thing we know about the Chancellor, we'll call him the Chancellor in this case, is that he wanted to take over the galaxy since. That's just what's his dream.
I think that was since birth.
Yeah, it was just embedded in him, and it was just his dream. It was just his goal. So it was planned out. It was a meticulous strategy to have to put, you know, if I ever come across someone who has a seat in the banking clan and they so happen to be this, I'm gonna make sure I'm his second man.
Yeah, and it kind of fell in his lap. And I think when he met him, because they meet on a planet where he is going to school, he realizes this dude
This is
is the ticket in.
Let me seize this opportunity.
Yeah, this dude is the ticket in. He takes his finances. He takes everything. He takes his house, everything. He killed him and took everything and his seat on the banking clan. And before he even does that, before the Palpies even does that, he kills his own family. Yeah. In the book, he kills his own family, and he does it on a plane. They're on their way back to the planet, and he kills everybody in the plane.
Oh, wow.
His father, his mother, family members, everything. So when he does that, he takes over the family's riches. Mm-hmm. So Palpatine, the House of Palpatine now becomes his, because his real name isn't, his last name is Palpatine. That's his first name. Yeah. But he only liked to go by Palpatine. Mm-hmm. He takes over all his family's money. Mm-hmm. So he's wealthy there.
Check.
He kills his master and takes all of everything from him. Another check. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the last part, and which really put him into power, was Count Dooku had his family, whoever was the head of the family, was the head of the House of Count Dooku, was a very wealthy family. Yeah. And they were from Sereno. I hope I'm saying that right. Sereno. Mm-hmm. After the death of his father, he reclaims the title of Count Dooku, head of the House of Dooku. What does Palpatine tell Anakin to do?
Get rid of him.
Kill him.
Yeah.
And guess what he takes? All of Dooku's, I'm assuming, takes all of Dooku's money.
Yeah. Definitely.
And makes him even more powerful. The dude was like eating planets.
Yeah. He knew exactly who to get rid of, what to do.
And what to do. Mm. Yeah, and I thought that was really, really interesting because...
I'm sorry. So sorry to cut you off.
No.
Even if he didn't get Dooku's money, with Dooku being dead, it just ceases all his assets. No one would be able to access Dooku's assets. Like no one could spend Dooku's because he's not here anymore.
Right.
So you just cease him being one of the people who could take you out, as far as like someone who's right on par with you money wise. His assets are ceased. Can't use them. Right.
Because he could have matched him toe to toe.
Oh yeah,
maybe
for sure.
Not because the Plagueis had more money.
Yeah,
but
he could definitely do so. He
was
shake
a threat.
Things up. He was a threat, exactly.
Right, and even though he worked with Palpatine, he was a threat.
He was still a threat.
Right, because it goes back to the Bane thing where the apprentice kills the master.
Exactly.
And Palpatine didn't want that.
Yeah.
He didn't want that. Anakin was a poor schlump. So he was no threat.
Yeah. Exactly.
No threat to him. Even though Padme was a princess on his planet, on Palpatine's planet, he made her that because the family was activists at first.
Yeah.
And so they really didn't have a lot of money. He was the one funding it all, so he could have pulled it at any time.
Anytime he wanted to.
He was no threat. Anakin was no threat. But I know that Dooku probably was a bigger threat.
Right, yeah.
He got Dooku to pay, talk Dooku into, you know what? Let's fund this army. You do it so that you can't. He probably didn't expose the fact that he had all of Plagueis's money.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about, because now it makes that. Because I'm thinking at that time, of course, when it's happening, when he's telling Anakin to go kill Count Dooku, I'm thinking it's just for, I'm thinking it's not really for a reason at all, but like, what is the reasoning? Like, why?
For his own benefit.
And now, since the currency is being explained and the seats here at the IGBC, and it makes more sense. Like, everyone knows Count Dooku's a rich man.
Right.
How rich we don't know, because I didn't know the currency, but now it's like he was the only one who was obviously a threat.
Yeah, and he was rich enough to fund the clone army.
And even to fund his own army as well, too. So, yeah, it makes sense on why the hit was called, to get him out.
Right. And in Anakin's first hitman assignment, didn't even get paid for it.
Yeah. On top of that.
He
richest man in the galaxy, and he still couldn't even cut you a little bit.
Yeah, he couldn't cut you a dime, man.
It's a shame, man.
Yeah, you got barbecued.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with this, Palpatine was so... He was so calculating with a lot of things except for one.
And that being
love.
love. Yeah.
He could not he could not understand love. You know, his family loved him, obviously, but he did not love anybody.
Yeah, he didn't grasp
He
that
loved
concept.
power.
Yeah.
He loved being running the galaxy. He loved being part of his loves were, you know, being part of the banking clan, running everything, but he could not. The thing he couldn't conquer was the love of a father and a son. And that's what took him down.
Yeah.
He ended up fried.
He really did.
Yeah, because he get thrown down into I don't know what it was called. It was like the core of the Death Star,
Yeah, exactly.
The second Death Star.
The second Death Star. Yeah.
and it was even bigger. So you were really gonna go.
He was gone. He's done. He's Force Ghost for sure. He's gone.
I don't even know if he was Force Ghost because he may not have learned that. Because I don't know if the dark side learned. Well, that can be argued because Bane came back as a Force Ghost. So I stand corrected.
Yeah, I'm assuming Palpatine just didn't get cooked and nothing didn't like go on.
Yeah,
You know
Bane
what I
may
mean?
not have. They may not have shared that secret.
Yeah.
Bane had the secret, and maybe it went with him.
There's a
Because the
possibility.
Mun doesn't come back either.
Oh really?
But he kills his master.
Yeah.
You know, Plagueis kills his master in the beginning of the book, and then at the end of the book, it's Palpatine who kills Plagueis. But the book at first was really kind of boring, and now that I'm thinking about it, man, I need to reread that.
You need to go back and read it again. Huh?
Yeah, because you know what? There's a lot of banking stuff that, you know, that I just skimmed over and didn't realize. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, there's definitely some. I definitely want to look more into the currency and like how to figure out a way. Like, all right, so what does that equal in the Star Wars universe? That is that, but what does that equal in with our currency? Like, give me a better idea of like what I would have with this much money and what I could do with it too.
Probably anything, because the richest man in the world can buy it just about anything.
Yeah.
You know, billions, and whoever.
But how much? What I'm like, how much is he worth? How, like, if someone could tell me like, oh, so Palpatine was worth this much. What is it? Ignites?
The ingots.
The ingots.
They were
And
different. They were
so,
different things.
Exactly. So what's
Coins, ingots.
Yeah. So what's 20 ingots get me? You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
Like what is that? What does that equal? So that's what I want to know.
I want to know what it looks like. I mean, wouldn't you be curious to see, like, even $40 million in 20s, what it would look like?
What it would look. Oh.
Yeah, probably fill this room.
It would fill this room up. In 20s.
I'd dive in.
Yeah, Scrooge McDuck for sure. Yeah,
But
part
he,
was crazy.
yeah, he was really. And where do you put this stuff?
Yeah.
You know, is it like Harry Potter where they had it like in a?
That international
in the-
sa-
in that bank.
That was one bank
Yeah.
that everyone just went to. Also, that was just
Yes.
one bank ran by the elves, the dwarves,
No, oh my gosh, what are they?
not the elves, but like the dwarves, right?
They were small, but they were they
goblins?
were goblins. Yeah, they look like goblins, but I think it was something like that.
Yeah,
They all the money for all the people from the Harry Potter world, the
All ran through
Wizarding
them.
world. Yeah, they put their money in that bank.
Yeah.
So I imagine that probably on the Munless planets, that's where all the money went.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and where it was, and it just seemed like at the very end with Force Awakens, I don't know how much money there was because, well, there could have been a lot because, yeah, it seemed like the rebels were not getting as much, the resistance was not getting as much money as the New Order.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it could be, God, we don't even know. You know, Snoke could have even been a Mun.
That's possible.
And that's why he got so powerful.
Yeah.
There's a possibility. I wish they'd explore and explain that.
Yeah, there's the currency especially. Just
Yeah, because he kind of looks like a Mun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he kind of looks like, because they have the big long heads. You remember in Attack of the Clones when my poor Obi-Wan gets captured?
He's fine.
I know he is fine.
Oh, that's not what I mean.
My heart is pumping right now. Be careful. But you could see in the part where Dooku was talking to all those different people.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
says the banking clan is, you know, they're gonna chip in and help count the count.
Yeah, yeah.
And I imagine that didn't go over too well with
With the
Palpatine.
Palpatine either. Like, why does he need any more money?
Yes, or what is he up to?
Yeah, exactly.
But Palpatine had his pulse on everything, but he wanted to control and make sure, and it could have come to the point where Count Dooku was becoming so powerful that he had to
Yeah,
take him out.
had to take him
Because
out.
why would he tell Anakin to kill him? He
Yeah.
probably told him, "Here, meet me on this ship," and because he was on the ship with him.
Yeah.
Meet me on the ship, or we're going to plan something. I'm sure he had something underhanded going on. And then when Anakin was able to defeat him, he says, "Kill him." And that's why he's looking at him like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, what do you mean? I just saw you.
I'm surprised he didn't open his mouth and say, duh.
But then it probably dawned on him like, this motherfucker, like this was his plan. You know what I mean? This was
They
the whole
both could
time.
use Force lightning.
Yeah.
Dooku and Palpatine, and he
Palpatine.
could have probably met him toe to toe on that
Yeah.
because he was a pretty powerful guy.
Yeah, Dooku wasn't no bum. Like,
No, he wasn't a
no,
schlump,
No,
but-
he was not at all.
But why he didn't decide to fight him, I don't know.
Yeah,
He could have, he could have been in the clouds too.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true too. That's true. But again, calculated move by Senator
Palpatine,
Palpatine.
yeah.
By Palpatine. It's like his hands already cut off. You did the work. Like, go ahead, kill him.
Yeah, and it was the Senate we were talking about.
Yeah, the
money.
Senate,
The
yeah,
Senate.
the
I don't.
Senate, yeah.
I had to stop and think about it because I was thinking about all this money.
Yeah,
It's getting me dizzy.
but it was just another calculated move by Palpatine, though.
Yeah, it
really.
was. It really was. And I mean, it was pretty clever. And now that you think sometimes, all right, we're going to talk about fashion, but then I start reading about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
Or even money. I thought at first when I was writing about it, this is going to be boring. We're just going to talk about some. And then I started reading more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, this is really crazy
It
about
just explains. It helps explain a lot more things.
yeah. And then that's when we started talking about Rey, working on the planet, and she was just working for food. There was no money on that planet. It
Yeah.
was just food.
Yeah, it was just food. Because Jakku was just so scarce anyway. It's just like a wasteland kind
Yeah.
of anyway. You want to just be able to eat. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like money's cool, but where am I going anyway? You know what I mean? Like, I just want to grab.
Right.
Let's
And
do
then they
something to eat.
wanted the junk dealer wanted BB-8, and he was going to give her how much portions?
Yeah,
60 portions,
yeah.
which really was only 60 days worth.
Mm-hmm.
That really wasn't very
It
much.
was just enough. They didn't have to go to work though.
Yeah, and she didn't have to go to work for a while, but
Yeah, but
she
eventually,
still was gonna have to
eventually. But like
go
just
back.
that little vacation, maybe because she's been working nonstop. It's like 60 days sounds good to just rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
that,
Like,
or you could trade it for
or you
some
could
other
you could-
parts for your
exactly.
for everything.
Mhm.
It seemed kind of
Yeah, she was just trying to get out of there.
yeah.
too, you know what I mean? So-
Well, she wanted to go back to Jakku. Remember, she said she wanted to go back.
Yeah,
So I think once she saw the other planets, she was like, maybe not.
yeah. Everything else is pretty shitty. Like I don't have to go through any of these, none of this.
Yeah, and the
planet
the other planets were green, and it was an adventure to see all these things. So you're like, maybe I don't want to go back to Jakku after all,
Yeah, true.
because everybody else got what they wanted from Jakku. Poe got his BB-8 because he went back for
Yeah,
BB-8, so he
yeah.
got that. Finn didn't want to go back to Jakku.
Yeah, he did that. He was like, "Why would you want to go there?" He's like, "Why do you want to go there?" But there was
And Rey did. I think, like I said, when she realized that, there's really nothing there for her, she didn't want to go back.
yeah.
She wanted to see
wanted to see-
other
she
things.
wanted to see other
She didn't
things.
want to work for food portions.
Yeah, no. Who does? I mean, especially after seeing what Jakku looks like and who's drinking out of the watering well.
Yeah.
No way.
I imagine they had iron stomachs.
I don't blame her for not wanting to go back.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
imagine she had
Yeah,
an
no
iron
way.
stomach. So,
Yeah,
ugh.
no way.
But like I said, I did find it interesting in looking that up, and like I said, everything so far that we've done, that we've talked about music, we've talked about animals, we've talked about ships. We have not gone over lightsabers yet, have we? Oh no, we did.
Yeah,
we
we
did
did. We
lightsabers,
also did
just a
lightsabers,
few
yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah,
What am
yeah.
I smoking?
Yeah, there might be a cloud over you too, Angie. Might have been something. I'm not sure.
I'm trying to think. I had a list of what we haven't gone over.
Okay, so we could get ready for
We
the next
we
episode.
did books. We've done books.
Mm-hmm.
We've done toys, which is cool. We did animals. We could do is here's our Republic credits. We've done that. We've done the animals. We've done quotes. And then on fun movie facts, we did that.
Yeah.
Our favorite movie quote. The one thing we haven't done is something like Mando lore.
Oh,
Mando lore. Get it? Mando lore.
yeah,
The-
Mando lore.
Yeah, kind of Mandalorian history. We can do that next time if you want to do that.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down to learn about Mandalorian history. I don't
Yeah,
know
because I know once
much
I
at all.
start digging, I'm going to find a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it'll basically just be an episode of Angie just dropping the fun facts and dimes, basically.
No, I think you could. I think you could find stuff too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can find definitely some stuff that I don't for sure know. Like, other than about like I'm more so about their combat and the way like they're structured as far as like the army and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, but as far as just the Mandalorian history, yeah, definitely could find.
I know they have a code. I know they have a code because there's actually a. I gave you the Mandalorian.
You
but
did.
yeah,
you
you
did.
can look stuff
so I can
up.
bring that. Yeah, I can bring that over here.
Yeah, you got look up the codes of the Mandalorians. Now we know that Boba Fett, or from what people are saying, that Boba Fett was really not a Mandalorian.
Just he had the armor.
He had that armor because he killed Mando.
Yeah, and made sure he got that armor.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. And there's a reason he got that armor. He found it, it was profitable
Yeah.
for him because then he became a bounty hunter, which he kind of, he was. Mandos are bounty hunters. They're, there's
They're
some of
highly
them are,
trained, yeah.
some of them are. So, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I'm down to do that.
Yeah, so we'll do the Mando lore.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
Yeah. So that's going to do it for us this week. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram,
iTunes, Twitter,
Castbox.
Castbox, we're pretty much everywhere. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm trying to think of what else we can go over real quick. I don't know if I missed anything. I think we got it all.
Yeah, I think so. I think we definitely. I'm gonna look into the currency just a lot more.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I want to like just get set in stone, concrete.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I
yeah.
thought it, especially the way Palpatine tied into all of it. I mean, his dirty little hands are in everything.
Are in everything. Are in everything too. So he's just whether he persuades people or whether he does it by force or whether he just does it out of respect. Again, I said respect earlier. Respect too, maybe in the Star Wars universe just means something. Depending on who you are, means something that's a lot more, whether you're good or evil. Just the respect people have for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think, I had talked to a few people where they talked about, I had a friend who had a friend who their family were hitmen. They were very nice people, but if you were on the hit list, you were going.
Yeah, you were gone. Yeah,
So, I mean,
job's a job.
job's a job, and they wanted
Yeah.
to be paid,
Yeah,
like the bounty hunters.
yeah, just like the bounty hunters. Yeah. I think we did get everything though. I'm definitely interested into learning more about the currency though. I really.
Yeah,
am.
I thought
really
that
am.
was really cool.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that's it for us this week. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Later, guys.
Woo!